Good morning. It is your favorite nobody. Just had a shower and thought I'd just record something whilst waiting for my hair to dry. How are you doing? How is life? This is take 3 now of what I'm trying to say. Bear with me. Bear with me. I don't want to edit. I just want to do it in one go and forget about it. Here's an unpopular opinion. Starfield is fine. Why? Well, it's a complex question. It really is. It's loaded. I've been around 37, next year 38 years, so almost 4 decades. I've seen gaming in all of its shapes and forms, from analog, playing outside with sticks and mud and footballs and basketballs and what have you, and chasing around and swings and you name it, to pen and paper. It's pen and paper how I fell in love with books. Some of my first books were pen and paper adventures, and I had boxes of them. It's what opened me up to literature and art and gaming in general. And then we had your Nintendos and Segas, and PlayStation was my first true love. PC gaming became a thing, and I never looked back. I've tried VR, I've tried your PSPs. I've been through pretty much everything gaming has to offer in terms of peripherals, in terms of platforms, in terms of experience. So I've seen a bit of life through the lens of a geek, introvert, somebody who kind of isolates, shuns reality every now and then, and is kind of keen on tailored experience. As you move through time, you will perceive things differently. You will see things differently, again, as you grow older. And I'll give you an example. When you're very young, so preteen, early teen, gaming is a sensory overload. It's just mind-blowing. It's pure crazy fun. Beats being outside by a mile. I know the world around us has fantastic graphics and physics, and it really is something to behold, given that it's a simulation. But there's something about video games and gaming that pulls you in. And when you're very young and very open-minded to kind of everything and anything, because you don't know anything and everything, it's a lot of fun, because your brain is just constantly having one neural storm after another, one kick of dopamine after another, and you're just chasing that like an animal. And then when you get to your teens and late teens, gaming becomes something else. It transforms a little bit. Now you're playing with friends, if you have any. Now you're kind of talking about it. Now you're socializing around gaming, and that's important. When I was growing up in my teens, I was kind of an outsider on this. Any party would take place, I'd be like, oh no, I'm staying home. There is like WoW raids to do and Counter-Strike to play and some other stuff. I have no interest in going to clubs or discos or spending time with people outside, smoking, drinking, or having fun. It was just not my idea of fun. My idea of fun was sitting at home playing video games and talking to what very few friends I had about this, and we had a blast. But you can see now how things are changing a little bit. There is more meaning to the actual act of gaming. And now when you get into your 20s, so late teens and 20s, gaming is something else entirely. I mean, at that age, you're expected to work and earn your own money and kind of be your own person. You are definitely by law pushed to obey the law. You can't just make something bad, do something bad, and then expect no repercussions. No, you can go to jail. You can really mess up things. You can take loans, you can drive a car, you can drink alcohol, you can use a gun if you live in a place like that. Things get serious. And now if you're playing video games, it's one of a few reasons that I can think of. One is recreational, because it's a hobby and you've always liked it. One is because it's your work, And one is because you're trying to escape reality. You are actually not liking your reality. You're actually feeling like your reality does not offer enough, and you need to supplement it in some way, or altogether shun it away. Just again, the longer you spend in gaming, the more time you spend gaming in your 20s on a daily basis, the less time you have to do anything else. And that means something. That's psychological, that's deep, that's important. And I speak from experience because I was in that position myself until my late 20s, pretty much. If you manage to escape that vicious cycle, now you get into your 30s, and time becomes precious. Moments become precious. You're kind of more sensitive to the boring stuff. You're more sensitive to the mundane stuff. And they're not boring anymore. They're not so mundane anymore. And gaming kind of takes a backseat. You're still playing. I'm still playing. I still enjoy video games. But you're now looking at it from the point of view of an adult. You're like, ooh, you look at the price tags. You look at the time it takes to finish a game. You look at all of it, the player base, what the game is like. There's so many factors that go into selecting a game now. You're not just playing anything and everything that you see. And you're not stuck in a loop playing for 10 hours every day, because work will not let you do that unless you have special circumstances. So now gaming is relegated to the few hours you may have a week. Because I live alone and I have a family, I can put aside roughly 20 plus hours a week if I wanted to into gaming. I average 6. And the only reason why that is because I live stream. And again, I do it for myself. I don't do it for anybody else. This YouTube stuff is just for me. It's on the back burner. That's a second thought. It's not primary thought. It's not the first thing. It's not the main driver in my life. It's work. It's living life, going places, trying things, spending time with family, my parents, my brother, his family, friends. If I get a chance to spend with them, that's also great. Colleagues who also become kind of your friends if you're lucky. Things change as you grow older, and how you experience your games changes as well. And this is very important. And this is why I think one of the main reasons why I don't mind Starfield, it's because I've never had any expectations of it. I don't have expectations of Bethesda. I'm not really a massive fan of theirs. I have a respect for what they do. I recognize it. It's unmistakably Bethesda-esque. There's a signature stuff to everything they do. And this is the second point. So the first point is your experience of games changes as you grow older. How you experience stories changes. How you experience gameplay changes. And you never know. The second thing is the fact that some of the longer standing studios have their own way of doing things. And they're kind of set in that way. And I'm not saying there is no innovation. There definitely is. However, there's also some form of conservatism, as it is with everybody who lives a little while. Certain aspects, certain things become embedded in what you do and how you do things and how you behave, how you express yourself, and it becomes your signature thing. It becomes your characteristic pretty much. And it's inextricable. I'm not saying you can't change it. I'm saying it becomes painful and difficult to change. Change is difficult. The older you get, it's not impossible, just difficult. You have to be more calculated, more thoughtful about it, more careful about it. Bethesda have been around for a while, and they've had some stellar success with certain titles. And they're just doubling down on that. They think that how they do things does pay off eventually. That's their thinking. Now, I'm not going to go into the nitty-gritty of their politics or Todd Howard or what's going on inside of that studio. People who work there know their best. I think if they didn't do Starfield the way they did it, and if Todd didn't say the things he said, it wouldn't be Bethesda. For better or worse, it just wouldn't be them. It would be something else. The third point I want to make is Bethesda Studios does not work in a vacuum. They're not the only thing around that makes video games. They're not the only entity around making video games about space. And as somebody who loves space, I grew up with Carl Sagan and Isaac Asimov and Stanislav Lem, and I've, all the stuff about Mars, NASA, European space, you name it. I've been through a lot of it, and I still enjoy it to this day. I seek it in video games, and there are a plethora of great video games: Elite Dangerous, Mass Effect, No Man's Sky, The Engine, Star Citizen, which is a fantastic demo of an interesting in-house engine. It's not a game. EVE Online, you name it. There are a plethora of good games, and they all have some upsides and downsides to them. There is definitely a mismatch between what Todd Howard promises to the public and what the public expects of their space games. No, Starfield is not a space sim by any stretch. It's very arcadey. It is in some ways very dated. The constant loading screens, it's not endearing, it's not sweet, it's not cute. It's actually kind of weird because it feels like a very old game. It feels like one of those point-and-click adventures where certain cutscenes are gorgeous and rendered and fluid and moving, and then suddenly it's you, and you click on the map with a mouse, and everything is like instanced, and you interact with it separately, and only things that highlight can be interacted with. So I don't find that cute. I don't find that sweet. I don't find that endearing. But it's signature Bethesda. It's signature Bethesda, and this is their latest product, and I don't think it's bad. In fact, if you're anything like me, and if you're old enough, and if you have zero expectations, and you care zero about marketing, and you have Games Pass, and you like space, and you like stuff that is closer to reality in terms of the science of behind space exploration, then this is definitely it. This is definitely in that. It kind of fits some of these profiles. It feels like The Expanse in a way. There's a lot of human conflict, a lot of human going on. I'm more of an ancient alien kind of guy. I'd much rather just chase artifacts and find alien worlds and do that. But this game, this is not Mass Effect. It's its own thing, Starfield. And it's perfectly okay. But you need to meet this criteria. You need to be of certain age, certain disposition. You need to not listen to marketing and not buy into hype. And also hope things just go on sale. Don't buy day one. Don't buy DLCs until later on. If you can, rent out and just try out, do that. But also kind of be respectful of your time. Be protective of the time you have. Because it's all you really have. And it's the one thing you can't hold on to. And you don't want to be throwing it away. And if through playing Starfield you feel like you're throwing your time away and you're wasting your time and you could be doing something better, I can't change how you feel about that. I want, in fact. Do you? We always say this here. You do you. But if you like storytelling and RPGs, and you're not particularly averse to how Bethesda tells stories, this is fine. This is fine. I'll see you around.